had an encounter with a white man saying that you were very well spoken.
Mhm.
So my question is, what advice can you give us to navigate things like that in the workplace or even just networking in general?
Keep the main thing the main thing. And when I say that, I just mean like don't get too caught up in that stuff because it's going to happen nonetheless. That said, there's a difference between prejudice and racism. If you feel like you are being specifically treated differently because of the color of your skin, or you being a female, then no. But prejudice exists, and I just don't think it's a effective strategy to try to go from place to place to avoid it, because no matter where you go, it's going to be there in some form or fashion. But you can still use it to your advantage, because people are probably going to doubt you and look at you funny because you're black. And for you specifically, you're a black woman in media. And I've worked in the industry long enough, even though it's only been 5 to 6 years, to see how black women get treated in the field. And the best ones are able to, like, all that stuff is not going to impact me because I have a goal in mind. I'm on a mission. I got tunnel vision. I'm gonna get done when I get done. You won't respect me, and that's the one thing they demand is respect. But all the subtle stuff, I can't let that knock me off kilter, because if I decide to give up, like, that doesn't help me. And meanwhile, they can still do whatever nonsense that they're doing on a day to day. So I would just say, like, don't ignore it. Like, don't ignore it in a sense to where, like keep it in the back of your head and just remember it. And if you need to use it as motivation, then use it as motivation. But don't let it scare you away, because it's going to be there no matter where you go.
I just had a question about what do you think the difference is between code switching and being yourself? Because a lot of times we accidentally use some of like our slang and things and just our
Mhm.
general conversation because it's just a part of who we are. Do
Yeah.
you think that's an issue, or how should we go about with that?
I personally don't see an issue with it, but again, it's to each his own. You may go some places where they really, really, really don't like it. When I was at CNN, that's how it was. Like, you had to be like, yes sir, yes ma'am, with everything at all times, and you just gotta play the game, and that's really what it is. You just playing the game. Like, if you can go talk slang and all that other stuff, the minute you walk out the building, you can devote 8 hours to a day to just speak the king's English, as they say. So, like, I don't feel like you're being any less of yourself, or you're, not acting like you. You're just, you're just, for every, like, you're not gonna say certain things in front of your mom. Is that code switching? No. This is a respect thing.
How do you think I could like differentiate myself or like try to still get different opportunities without any of that experience?
The benefit of being in media is the fact that there's nothing but opportunity to create on your own. You don't have to be connected to a university. You don't have to be connected to a corporation to create on your own. Like, one of my mentees, she created her own series called Girls of the Game, and she's about to get a job making money, real good money for your first job out of college, off of something she created on her own. She didn't do that based off her internship. She didn't do that based off a job. She just made it on her own. So the best experience you can get is just start to create on your own, in whatever fashion that is, whatever it looks like, and you couple that with the experience that you ultimately garner as you rise up in college, and you create a beautiful resume for yourself. And then once you graduate, you have like concrete hard evidence of things that you do. And companies love when they see that you're a self-starter. Like, oh, well, you made this just because. You didn't make this because you were in a class or you were part of an organization or a society. So that's the recommendation I give to all of y'all. Like, there's nothing but media related stuff to create. You can just go make stuff. You like graphic design, like video, marketing, PR, whatever the case is. So, like, practice, like, the same way they say that for a writer, like, you gotta practice your pen. Like, your pen only will get stronger the more you write. for your specific interests, it's the same thing.
Thank you.
Of course.
I remember my question.
Yep. Go
Um, so when you're talking to some people and you've started to cultivate your relationship with them,
I've had that experience, and what I did was it was a gradual exit. I would say the benefit that you have in that is because they're already the professional. It's not like you having a relationship with them is necessarily doing them any favors unless you're actually doing work for them. So if you were to like gradually just decrease the amount of communication, more times than not, they probably won't even notice it because they're doing it day to day. But that is a good thing to keep in mind. Integrity matters. Like your moral compass matters. Like you still gotta go to sleep every night and feel like, okay, like I'm standing for something. So like all connections aren't good connections the same way all money's not good money. So, you know, it's a fair thing to watch out for. And I think the best way to learn how to maneuver it is when you experience it, because no two scenarios are exactly the same. But I know I had a guy that was he was a big fan of Ben Carson. And I was just like, Ben Carson, like for his profession, or Ben Carson, the now politician? And he was like the politician. And he started saying some things that just didn't sit right with my spirit. And I was like, you know, this is a good connection to have, but at the end of the day, like my moral compass, I just don't like how I feel inside. Like it's not worth it. If I have to give up some of my integrity to keep this relationship or this connection going, then it's not worth it. Like you still gotta look at yourself in the mirror every day. So it's like where you fall on that is to each his own.
Can you talk about the importance of leaving a good taste in the mouth at a previous company and then moving forward to like another company, just like leaving a good reputation across the board at previous places you have worked at?
Oh yeah, that's a great question, East. You never want to burn bridges. You never want to burn bridges, especially like I said earlier, in this field where everybody knows each other in terms of like the corporations and how they operate. You never want to burn bridges. So like if you leave in a company, be sure to give a 2-week notice. Like whether you hate it there or not, don't just say, all right, well, today my last day and that's it. Like at the time you may feel good about it, but you have no idea how that may impact you down the line. I still have relationships with people I work with at CNN 5, almost 6 years ago. I left NBA TV pissed off, but I still left gracefully and still have connections down there. Same thing for the NBA, same thing for Bleacher Report. Even on those last 2, I left with love. But like you never want to leave a place with like animus. Like it's because it can come back to haunt you. And unless it's a situation where you felt like you were in danger or you were threatened or you felt uncomfortable, then you try to always leave as gracefully as you can, because everybody knows each other, especially the further you go up. So you never want that to come back to hurt you.
Any closing remarks or advice for us outside of networking, just in general, breaking into the industry or just navigating our careers amongst COVID? If you have anything you would like to say.
One thing that I will stress, and whether there was a pandemic or not, you have to be resilient. Like you're all going to get knocked on your ass in some form or fashion as you enter your own respective fields. And like they say, it's not about how hard you get hit, it's how many times you get up. You can't stop. Like you have to rebound or adjust. And I say that to you guys not to scare you. I just say it to be real, because I feel like not a lot of times people tell you the real of like, yo, it's hard. It's really, really hard. You're balancing the stress of your career versus the stress of your own personal life, and now it's all culminating at the same time. So, you know, you guys just gotta be resilient. And, you know, if you're willing to get up, if you get knocked down, you'll be all the more better for it.